Do clothes alone make the music? I have no idea what that means. Well, perhaps today's guest can answer that.
People come from all walks of life. They all have lives they lead. Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. My guest is a singer, a guitarist, a keyboardist, and I believe he's a songwriter as well. Yes. Time to meet the artist, Zafirios.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, for sure. I just want to start off because with this line that you wrote that I liked. After you were wearing a velvet suit, right? That was made by an Italian tailor. And he said it was, what did he say? It was an artist's suit, but you said clothes alone don't make the music.
No, they don't. I mean, image does help sell things and does help, there is that visual aspect, right, which helps, but, it's all comes down to the music after all, because, I mean, there's notorious examples of some artists who have tremendous image, but, the music might be played by someone else, or maybe the music doesn't stand up. And then there's also some artists who don't really have that visual aesthetic appeal, but they have great music. And then there's the lucky few who combine both.
Right. Yeah, there are not. Yeah, sorry, there are not that many. No, do I understand you have a band, but you're also a solo performer? Is that correct?
Well, I have a band for live shows, but I mean, right now it's just, everything's as we know, in this bizarre phase, with the Omicron variant. And so yeah, I do have a band for studio recording. And when I play live, I will have a band. Again, I did have a band that was playing live with me for several years when we were doing these shows. So yeah, hopefully they'll resume again soon.
It would be nice. I understand in the way with the live audience, it's such a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It is a wonderful thing. That's where you see the great, if the music is working, you also get the energy from the audience. Yeah. But right now, we'll see what happens in the next few months, with this variant. So I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, in the meantime, let's talk about your album.
Yes.
Now, I think you put out, where is it now? I've got all of this information here. I know that you have one, I don't know the name of the album, but I got the songs on side 1 and side 2 with Blackberry Road and what was the other one? Secondhand Nature.
Yes.
What's the name of that album?
The album is called Summer Sand. That's one of the songs on the second side.
Okay. Now, did you write all of those songs yourself?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So when the band is performing live or whatever, do those artists also help write songs, or are you basically the songwriter?
I am the sole songwriter. Other musicians come up with parts, but I bring in the chord progressions, the melodies, the lyrics, and the titles.
Right. So when did you first get interested in music and then into performing?
Well, my mother was a classical pianist, so when I was 5, I had piano lessons, which I hated at the time, but which I'm grateful. It's a common story of adults. They hated the music lessons they were made to take as children, but they realized it was one of the greatest things, or it's something invaluable that happened to them during childhood. And then in high school, I had a joke band with some friends. And then when I was 19, I had this punk band called the Indecisives, which played regularly at some punk clubs in Vancouver. And we put out yeah, a 7-inch single, was an EP in the early 90s, and that topped the local university chart. And then I went back to university and then played bass in a cowpunk band for a while, and then uh, was writing music on my own. And then uh, this particular project, well, the Zafirios project, started when a friend of mine encouraged me in 2013 to write some songs, and so we'd work on our songs and show them to each other. And then I with then recorded a demo of the songs that are on the album. But in 2014 and then 2015, started playing live shows, playing these songs off the album, and then more songs were written. And then in 2020, I went into the studio, and I was lucky that I had this tremendous rhythm section playing on it. Pat Stewart, who's played with Bryan Adams and is in the Odds, and he actually was playing with Bryan Adams recently in Vegas, played drums. And then Norm Fisher, who's also played with Bryan Adams, on bass. So it was tremendous for me to play with musicians of such high caliber, because it made me have to raise my game musically. And we recorded onto 2-inch tape, and so the drums, bass, and rhythm guitar were recorded at the same time. I mean most music now, it's recorded onto computer, and someone records the drums first, or the bass, or the drums first, and then they track the separate instruments. But we did it old school, where we were playing those the bass, drums, and rhythm guitar live. And that you have to really listen and also relax too, and not get too wound up about making mistakes. Because I mean, a problem I have with a lot of music that's recorded now is it's very clinical. Everything's fixed if there's a mistake, and everything's polished. By the way, those guys, Pat and Norm, who played on my album, there were no mistakes on their part, because they're just such pros.
Do you categorize your music, or do you have a variety of styles?
Well, stylistically, it's all over the place. I mean, there's Blacklight Mountain, which is like a honky tonk ragtime number, because I'm playing piano on that, and there's no guitar. And then there's Pompeii, which is like a funk number. I had this idea of writing a song if Bo Diddley was playing at Studio 54 with Chic. So that's the funk number. And then Secondhand Nature is punk rock song, and is Not Too Late for Tomorrow is a doo-wop song. So I don't know what to categorize it musically. I think too, in this day and age, people are listening to such different genres of music they let on their playlists. It's not as rigid stylistically as it were in the past, where, if you liked hard rock, you can play funk or disco, and then you'd have this nasty attitude towards that. Or if you because I mean, we have the pretty much entire history of recorded music at our fingertips. And so I mean, I think that in that respect, this album stylistically represents this time where we're just listening to all different genres of music,
which I personally think is awesome. I like that.
Thank you.
Now, before COVID, were you touring a lot?
No, I was just playing shows in Vancouver at some local venues like the Princeton, the Rickshaw, and the Railway Club. But I mean, I would like to tour again, but again, it's just I want to see how things go in the next month.
Yes, I've been to a couple of live shows locally here in Chilliwack, and they had you couldn't have the number of people in there, and also the band were behind this like plexiglass, and it's like, even though they could see us and we could see them, it didn't feel the same, that's for sure.
No, it didn't. And actually last year I was playing a solo set of my songs at the Princeton, and in East Vancouver. And then afterwards, I did 2 sets with some friends playing a T-Rex tribute band, and we were behind plexiglass. And I mean, it was, yeah, it's not the ideal way, but at the same time, I mean, we're in unusual times. We're in a pandemic, so you have to do what you can to stay safe. So I understand that.
What I was wondering is, for you, did the music, because you have this, I know that like the glass doesn't go all the way down and all the way over the sides, but did it bounce back at you? Like, I'm just kind of wanting to understand how it felt.
That's a good question. I was too wrapped up in performing to notice a difference.
Okay.
So
just something I was curious about, you know, because normally the sound just goes out to the audience, right?
yeah, well, I mean, there was the PAs. I think they were around the screen so the audience could get it. I mean, I can't remember. It felt a little invasive having the screen up, but I mean, we had to do it for safety reasons.
Right. Now, when you were out there, were you booking your own gigs, or did you have an agent, somebody booking them for you?
No, booking my own gigs.
Did you find that difficult?
Yes and no in some ways. I mean, you have to hustle more. I mean, I do have potential offering for a show too, but I arranged that on my own part. I mean, difficult thing is you're an artist, and then, you know, in this day and age as an artist, you have to have some other work too to supplement your income. And then you would like to have someone booking your shows so you don't have to focus on the business side, but then who you get to book your shows and who you get to know your music. And sometimes, you know, until you get to a certain stage, you're the best person who knows how to promote your music and how to get it out there, because there's some people say, yeah, sure, I'll do it for you, give me some money or give me a percentage, but they might not see things the way you want to get things out.
Right, for sure.
So, I mean, yeah, it can be exhausting, but you know, sometimes you have to do it.
Yes, absolutely. Like for me, I even inviting guests, I like it when I don't have to make a phone call. I prefer, like, if I can do a Facebook message them, or like Pamela suggested, right? She can't put you in contact with me.
Yes.
Which was really great, you know. Oh, yeah, and that's what I want to ask you about. Now, what was that? Is Uprise?
Yeah, there's the Rise Up. That's
Rise Up. Sorry. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, they were going to do a tour of Vancouver Island in November. I couldn't do it, and then it got canceled because of the weather emergency we've had here.
Yes.
By the way, how's it been in Chilliwack for you?
Well, personally, I was okay, but I have friends whose basement were flooded, and, you know, I wasn't in any of the evacuated areas, thank goodness, but I do know some people who were, and it's like, it's, you know, our new world, right?
I know, unfortunately.
Yeah, hot summers and rain and fires, and it's just like, well, it's really tough. I would think for like for artists, it's like, in my opinion, this is when the government should be promoting artists to get out there and stuff, because people need that.
Absolutely, they do. They do, because it just, I mean, arts are essential part of society, and also, you know, it just helps raise people's morale too.
Absolutely, should be considered essential.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. So, will you be touring with the what Rise Up? Again, see, I get everything mixed up. You know.
Okay.
Will you be touring with them in the future?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I just want to see
Nothing's
how
definite.
the phase of the pandemic pans out.
Right. And imagine you're still in the meantime, you're still writing more songs, are you?
Yes, I am. I actually wrote a new one last week. It's just another piano-based number, and I'm trying to set myself a challenge to write the next album
Ah,
too. So I mean, yeah, that's what I'd like to focus on. So
right.
yeah, so it's in the works.
Now you're also working, right? Where you
Yeah.
actually get like a regular paycheck?
Yes, I am. I actually work at Vancouver General Hospital, so I'm working at ground zero of this pandemic.
Wow. So what are you doing there?
I'm a porter. I'm moved patients
Oh, good
back
for
and forth.
you.
Yes, there's a lot of artists and musicians who work that job because it's a regular job, but at the same time, it's not like a nursing job where you have to work 12 or 14 hours a day where you come home completely drained and exhausted. So
But it's such an essential job. Really is.
yeah, it it is. And I mean, you also see the reality of this pandemic too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. And, I think good for you for doing that. I think it's awesome. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of it. So is there any other questions I wanted to ask? My brain goes blank sometimes. If people want to get a hold of you, there's where we go. Do you have a website? I know they can find you on Facebook, right?
Yes. The best place to go for me is Zafirios on Facebook. So that's Zafirios. So if you want, I can send you the link for it, or if you want.
I think I have it.
Okay. So yeah, just the music band page on Facebook, and also the Instagram page. And yeah, I just have some news which I can't reveal right now, but I will mid-December.
Okay. Right.
This exciting news about distribution of my music.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you for doing this for me.
Oh, thank you for having me, Nancy.
You're welcome. Just stay on camera for a second. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And yes, I'm going to share Zaf's information so that you can check it out. And if want to get in contact with him, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. And we're getting some snow, people, so stay safe and peace out.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see.